talk some boxing or talk what's left of boxing. Because like I said, the frustration is it's just like really kicking in because you just hear a different set of BS every day. All these dudes want to do is argue over the internet. They want to point the finger at the promoters. They want to do this. They want to do that. And that's all that's going on. There's just so much BS to where you just throw your hands up in the air. Too much nut hugging of fighters, promoters, just everything. So, people changing their tune. People saying, oh, I didn't say this. I didn't say that. Then they call the people that they deal with in the media and say, hey, this is what's going on. They don't know what they talking about. They lying. And I'm just like frustrated with the whole thing. Because like I said, as a longtime boxing fan, I just think it's repulsive. This got to happen. That got to happen. It's just always a bunch of to the networks. All of them. So, it is what it is. I hit Bomac up. I'm waiting for Bomac to respond. Bomac hit me whenever he want to. Bomac will respond to me by the time I didn't forgot that I hit him up, but I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get Bomac on here. I'm gonna try to get Bomac on here on Saturday, and I'm gonna talk to him about this rumor about him. Can't do that. Damn. So I'm gonna talk to him about this rumor about him possibly fighting Josito Lopez in a fight that absolutely nobody wants to see. But see, I'm gonna tell you something. At the end of the day, still doesn't take away the fact that that fight happening. Still, that doesn't take away the fact. At the end of the day, it is what it is. Fanboys gonna be fanboys, fangirls gonna be fangirls. And that's just all that's going on. People going Lopez, but at the end of the day, there are people that gloat about it and that's happy about it. Tell by their tone that they gloating and that they happy this is happening to Bud. I'm not happy about this because I want available opponents out there for him. But at the end of the day, it still doesn't take away the fact that the PBC refused to sign a contract and get in the ring. They want to holler about Bob and all this and just want to put it on Bob. But at the end of the day, like I said, the fight could go to a purse bid. If Bob and ESPN don't want to pay for Bud versus Sean Porter, then let Triller have it. If Triller willing to take the fight, then let Triller get it. At the same time, you saying that possibly ESPN/Disney don't want it, but then you don't want nobody else to get it. That's, you know what I'm saying? So if they feel like the fight ain't pay-per-view worthy and they can't sell it because they think Sean Porter wants too much money, then let Triller have it. For real. Let somebody else come in and bid on the fight. If you feel like you don't want to have the responsibility for, putting up the financial obligation for that fight, let somebody else have it and get it over with. Because like I said, nobody don't want to see no damn Josito Lopez. But like I said, at the same time, there's people that's gloating about that because, like I said, they, sniffing Errol Spence's draws and the PBC draws to the fullest. Where me, I don't sniff nobody's draws. Like I said before, I'm still getting invited to cover fights. And these people watch my channel. That's obvious. Don't have a problem with what I say. So at the same time, why should I compromise myself by sticking my nose up PBC and Al Heyman's butt? I'm not going to do that. And like I said, at the end of the day with Bob Arum needs to make up his mind. Do he want Terrence Crawford or not? If you don't want Terrence Crawford, let him go. Release him. You know that song by Fantasia, Free Yourself, Free Bud. If you feel like I said, at the end of the day, you want to hold on to him, but then you don't want to get him the best possible fights. You don't want to pay the money. But like I said, at the end of the day, be careful listening to these channels that's gloating about this shit. Because at the end of the day, they gloating because they don't want Bud to get a marquee fight. Hey Tim, you gotta ask Sean. That's another thing that I'm waiting on also. Sean needs to activate. He said he was gonna activate it. From what I heard, he hasn't. I'll call Kenny. Because once he activated, then at the end of the day, then they really could get an actual negotiation on instead of just sending offers and backpedaling through the phone and shit. At the end of the day, it still come down to Sean. If Sean exercises his mandatory, then we really could get this underway. So at the end of the day, Sean got to exercise the mandatory so we can really see if this fight can really possibly happen. But like I said, I know the tricks that they be doing behind the scenes. I know the little tricks that they do behind the scenes, the PBC guys do behind the scenes. Because I know for a fact that Al Heyman don't want to do no business with Bob Arum. Once again, don't listen to these cornball niggas that don't. Once again, don't listen to these cornball niggas that don't go to fights. That just wing shit. I talk to people behind the scenes. I do a lot of phone calls behind the scenes. I keep in contact with Kenny. I keep in contact with Bomac. Stop listening to speculators who sit up here and come up with these flashy, video, come up with these flashy video titles so they can get their clicks. Because like I say, I'm the one that's really doing the groundwork. I personally is going to text Bomac and tell him don't fight Josito Lopez. It does nothing for Bud. But at the end of the day, it still doesn't take away the fact that the Errol Spence nut huggers and the PBC nut huggers still scared about that fight happening. Don't take away a damn thing. So my thing is with Bob Arum, what's up, Dreezy? What's up? Yeah, Dreezy, I'm gonna creep out there this weekend, man. I'm gonna try to link up with you, man. I'm gonna try to creep out to LA this weekend. Just go out there just for the hell of it. Since shit is open back up, man, and maybe we can meet at a bar or something. Find somewhere for us to like kick back, knock a couple of cold ones down. But yeah, man. The thing is with Bob Arum, just let Bud go, man. Just let him go. But I need to know for a fact that Sean has activated his mandatory, because at the end of the day, if he hasn't activated his mandatory status, then why are we even having this conversation? And like I said, it still don't take away the fact that the opposite side of the street still ain't tried to make this fight. Stephen A. Smith and Max Kellerman was spot on. I don't agree with Stephen A. Smith like 95% of the time. But when it comes to the biggest fight that could possibly be made, it is Errol Spence versus Terrence Crawford. Appreciate that. These dudes need to take their heads out of their asses, come to some common ground, and stop playing these games about who should get the lion's share of the money. I've been saying this for the longest. Errol Spence and Bud could do a 2-fight deal with an option for a third. 50-50 right down the middle. Rematch. 55-45. And then for the then they could do 60-40. Because all this stuff about ticket sales and all that kind of stuff is a bunch of crap. Bunch of baloney. That's the biggest fight out there that can be made. Most people believe Todd DeBuff is going to take over. He don't know how to submit the paperwork. Oh, man. I know he didn't say that because Sean been fighting for a long time. Sean know every aspect of submit paperwork, and so does Kenny. Kenny is the manager. I'm gonna get Kenny on here. He said that on Instagram. Is that his official Instagram, or it's a fake Instagram? Because that don't make no kind of sense. Sean been doing this for a while, man. He been doing this for a while. I find that highly unlikely he don't know how to submit paperwork. Sean got Kenny as his manager, and Sean got a lawyer. If that's the case, then what you got a lawyer for, and what you got Kenny for? He don't know. Well, all right, man. All right. I didn't say you was lying, but that doesn't make any kind of sense. I've been on my job for like almost 10 years. I've been on my job for like 8 years. That's like me saying I don't know how to submit the paperwork to ask for a vacation. I've been there for a while. I should know every aspect of the job. That's like them telling me, hey, man, we need you to get on the forklift. We need you to drop down, this pallet. And I'm sitting up there. I don't know how to drive a forklift. But you say you a forklift driver. That's doesn't make any kind of sense. But I'm gonna tell you this right now, because I see the people that listen to my channel got sense. This is what goes on. And you can take this back to anybody you want. You can take this back to all the PBC apologists. A lot of times what go on behind the scenes, if they having some kind of issue with Big Al about money, about the next opponent, they want a certain amount of money for this fight versus what they got for the last fight. What they will do is they will say, okay, well, I'm going to go negotiate with Top Rank or what's the other guy, Matchroom. And then they'll sit up there and say, okay, well, I got this much. I'm getting this much to go fight this dude on Matchroom. So sometimes what'll happen is they'll say, okay, well, I can't give you this amount right now, but I'll give you this amount to fight this low tier fighter. But what I'll do is I'll talk so-and-so into giving you a rematch. And that's what usually happens. Because at the end of the day, Al don't really want to do business with Bob Arum. He really don't. He using the same formula that Bob Arum used when Bob Arum didn't want to do outside fights. Bob Arum said out of his own damn mouth, he said he don't like matching his fighters up with people that he don't believe they can beat. That came out of his own mouth. He told that to Fred, if I'm not mistaken. But that's what a lot of those PBC guys do. And Al Heyman does the same thing. Why would you you know what I'm saying? Why would you give Danny Garcia the Bud, and Bud is gonna beat the living hell out of Danny Garcia, when you can keep throwing Danny Garcia, keeping him active, putting him in the ring, recycling him to fight all these PBC dudes, when you got a whole bunch of fighters that signed to the PBC, brand, or that's affiliated with the PBC TV show, because that's what PBC is. But this is what been going on for the last 6 years. That's why it's gonna be very difficult to get certain fights made. I wouldn't hold my breath for Canelo versus David Benavidez. Okay, you probably will get David Benavidez versus Caleb Plant some down the line, but David Benavidez versus Canelo, I wouldn't hold my breath. You might could get possibly at light heavyweight. You might could eventually get Arthur Beterbiev on a PBC card, but it's gonna be against a lesser opponent. Because I think Arthur Beterbiev is still advised by Al Heyman. But yeah, Al Heyman will give Bud somebody like Josito Lopez. You know why? Because Josito Lopez got 8 losses. He's been stopped multiple times, and we know Bud is going to obliterate him. Bud is going to obliterate Josito Lopez in probably less than 6 rounds. We know that. I can promise you Josito Lopez ain't going the distance against Bud. He not going to last. Josito Lopez ain't going to last 6 rounds with Bud if that fight happens. But at the end of the day, the PBC fanboys is loving and gloating because at the end of the day, they scared. So that's what's going on. I'm just telling y'all the truth. That's what they do. So to a certain degree, it's kind of like Cap. And I'm really puzzled if Sean hasn't activated his mandatory status versus Bud with the WBO, because then that says a lot. Then you have to raise, you know what I'm saying, your antennas. That's when your antennas go up and you like, wait a minute. He ain't activated his status for the mandatory, but we hearing all this stuff about money and all. So that changes everything. That changes a lot. Now, let me answer this question. If you was Wilder's manager, how would you get him to fight AJ or Fury if they won't fight him? Well, see, that's the thing. Once again, we have this thing up in the air with Wilder. About, is Wilder going to force his mandatory status, or we really have a Tyson Fury Joshua fight coming up? But they don't have a date, they don't have a venue, and they don't have the actual money. Now, if they have a venue or a date, then you start saying, okay. But they don't have neither of the three. This reminds me of that BS Bob Arum was pulling a while back when he was talking about Floyd got 10 days to sign the contract to fight Manny Pacquiao. And this is why Bob Arum has called out Eddie Hearn. Not that everything Bob Arum says the gospel. This reminds me of that. That with Floyd, he got 10 days to sign the contract. Are we moving on? But yet, Bob Arum has no venue for Floyd. He doesn't have a fight date. And he doesn't have the money worked out. And then what they would do is they already know Manny had his next fight signed. And then what they would do, they would run to us, the media, and say, oh, it's Floyd. He's ducking. That's what they do. This is a real boxing channel here, ladies and gentlemen. This is a real objective boxing channel. I've called out the PBC. I've called out Matchroom. I've called out Golden Shower. I've called out all of them. I've called out Top Rank. If they on some BS, they on some BS. They gonna get called out. But that's what's been going on. I keep telling y'all, Errol Spence and Bud probably ain't gonna happen no time soon. Now you got Errol Spence. He said he didn't say 70-30. And he said he didn't say 80-20, but people keep saying those came from his social media accounts. So, okay, somebody lying. Okay? Somebody lying. But no, nobody wants to see no damn Bud versus no Josito Lopez. Nobody wants to see that fight. And like I said, boxing is going into the shitter. It's a damn shame. Now, I'm almost, and I hate to say it, but I'm a realist. It's getting to the point I'm damn near looking forward to watching fake Paul fight. Because Lord knows we can't get the other fights that we want. I've never seen a day and age where you gotta go through so many hoops. You gotta beg fighters, you gotta beg promoters, you gotta beg the managers, you gotta beg the networks. Hey man, can we get this fight made? It always gotta be hurdle after hurdle. When these fights are easier to make than what people, make you believe. It's not that hard. It's just that they just don't want to. I already did told you guys what they be doing. That's probably what's gonna happen. They gonna run. That's probably what's gonna happen. They're gonna go back to Al and say, "Well, hey, I got this. All right, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give you this dude. Just stay patient, and then I'll get you a rematch." Or what happens is Errol Spence, he fights Ugas. He wins that belt. He has 3 belts. And then Errol Spence moves up to 154. All the belts are, you know what I'm saying, are vacant. And then possibly they look at who's the mandatory, how they ranked, and then you probably could once again set up another PBC fight where you have 2 PBC fighters fight for the vacant WBC. It's just crazy, man. Like I said, it's just crazy. It's pathetic. And like I said, at the end of the day, the fans are losing. We're all losing. Cause see, like I said before, I'm not making no videos gloating. Oh, Bud ain't gonna get to fight Sean Porter. Who does that? No, I'm pissed because I want to see the damn fight. But yeah, this is what we got, fellas. We getting played. We get manipulated. And I'm just gonna keep it 100. I'm gonna stop like I said. At the end of the day, you gotta boycott. You gotta be like, okay, well, you know what? If they don't make the fights, we not gonna buy them. I'm here to say, I do not want to see Bud versus Josito Lopez. Why do you want to see a fight that you know ain't gonna last 6 rounds? Bud is gonna obliterate him. It's gonna destroy him. That may be Josito Lopez's last fight. And then you're gonna get the PBC, you know what I'm saying, apologists say, see, Bud ain't fight nobody. First of all, Bud ain't the ones that write the checks that make the fights. You know what I'm saying? You got to get at ESPN. Bud ain't ducking no Sean Porter. Stop it. He's not ducking the fight. But at the end of the day, you got people that don't want to make the fights, though. You got the managers and the advisors who don't want to make the fight because they have bad blood with somebody. Look, Bob Arum, he did Al Heyman wrong, and there's no denying that. But at the end of the day, should you be punishing the boxing fans by denying us great fights that we want to see? Absolutely not. So I'm still holding Al Heyman accountable. These niggas want to get on their YouTube channels and holler about, Bud doing this, Bud doing that. Like I said, at the end of the day, ESPN is $1 billion company. ESPN, ABC is $1 billion / Disney. They're $1 billion company. They lose millions every day. At the same time, they gain it. So they still should be willing to put up the money. Or if not, PBC should be willing to put up the money. I don't know why it's so difficult to make these fights made when it's not. But at the end of the day, you got people, like I said, that's gloating and that's happy that certain fights can't get made, all because they don't like Bud, because they still bitching and still upset because Bud wouldn't get him an interview. Like I said, I don't hold nothing personal against these fighters. As long as they don't say nothing about me, it's all good. I just want these fights to get made. This isn't the Triple G situation where Triple G is personally turning down fights. See, Triple G turned down Andre Ward himself. He personally turned down Andre Ward. He personally has said no to Charlo. He personally has said no to Demetrius Andrade. So like I said, you got a whole bunch of things going on. You got the waiting game going. You got people hiding behind money issues. So that's what's going on. I'm talking to the real boxing fans. I am putting my feelings to the side. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Yeah, CB. Like I said, I think it's a damn shame that you got to twist people's arm to get them to make fights. Yeah, it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be allowed. It shouldn't be tolerated. But when you have some of the media people that's in on it, as well as the promoters, as well as the fighters, as well as the managers, this is going to keep happening. Look, I was born at night at Highland Hospital in Oakland, California, but I wasn't born last night. Like I said before, I know who is the real culprit and why Bud versus Errol Spence haven't been made. I've known it for 2 years. So, it is what it is. But anyway, I got to get ready to punch in. Thank y'all for tapping in. Next live stream, we're going to talk about this debacle with Devin Haney. This your boy, Tell Biz. I'm out.